I peeked around the corner and immediately pulled my head back and exclaimed, "Oh my God, oh my God."
That's the reaction of the officer who found Kevin Bacon's body hanging inside Mark David Latunski's home. Just hours ago, a judge said Latunski will go to trial, accused of murdering that man in his home back in December. Our Ann Perrette has been covering this case since it happened in December 2019. She was in the courtroom today and shares new details about how Bacon died and what Latunski is saying about it.
The hearing lasted about 2.5 hours with 5 witnesses taking the stand, 3 police officers, a forensic scientist, and the county's assistant medical examiner. State psychologists deemed Mark David Latunski competent for this case to move forward 2 weeks ago, but the judge has him remaining at the center to continue treatment. Mark David Latunski sat silent, almost motionless, staring forward as he appeared by video. Kevin Bacon's parents were in the courtroom to hear how Latunski is accused of murdering their son. Lead investigator, MSP's Detective Sergeant James Moore, testified to what Latunski told him after he was arrested.
He said that they initiated a conversation on Grindr, that an agreement had been made between the two of them to engage in sexual activity.
Sergeant Moore says Latunski said Bacon had a fantasy, and Latunski told him he was willing to act it out for him. He told the judge on December 24th, Latunski said he picked Bacon up at a Family Dollar near Bacon's home. Latunski had Bacon leave his phone and clothes behind in his car, and then Latunski told the officer he had Bacon pick out an outfit, blindfolded him, put earmuffs and restraints on him for the nearly 30-minute drive to his Bennington Township home. The officer explaining both role-playing and props were involved. It ended in Latunski's basement.
Latunski stated that Kevin Bacon had explained to him that he had been suicidal in the past. The discussion began about how Latunski could make Mr. Bacon's body disappear.
Sergeant Moore says the 51-year-old told him Bacon asked he use a sword, but Latunski told the officer he used this knife instead, believing it would make his death painless. Sergeant Moore says Latunski stabbed Bacon in the neck and then slashed his throat, killing him. To ensure he didn't feel any more pain, Latunski told the officer he hung him up to drain the blood from his body. Sergeant Moore says Latunski then cooked and ate a part of Bacon's body because it was a new moon. Then he carried out the rest of what Latunski said was their agreement.
As a result of ending the life, then he was going to utilize Kevin Bacon's body for different things.
As part of those plans, Sergeant Moore goes on to say Latunski even bought a dehydrator. We know the defense has tried to prove Latunski is insane. Questioning the lead investigator, Latunski's attorney alleged today that Bacon consented to dying.
They discussed Mr. Latunski assisting in a suicide, is that correct?
Mr. Latunski stated that he was going to help Kevin Bacon disappear. So we can interpret that. I'm just using the words that Mr. Latunski stated.
The defense asked to add a charge of assisted suicide. That's not legally allowed, so the judge denied the request and sent Latunski to trial on charges of open murder and mutilating Bacon's dead body. Again, state psychologists deemed him competent to stand trial. He'll remain at the psychiatric hospital until then. The defense did not call any witnesses. They likely will at trial. Coming up tonight at 6, Bacon's parents respond to the accusation their son asked Latunski to kill him. In Corona, I'm Ann Perrette, ABC 12 News.
Let's take a look back at how we got to today's hearing. Kevin Bacon was last seen on Christmas Eve and reported missing the next day by family. Now, 3 days later, police found his body in the basement of Mark David Latunski's home. He was formally charged December 30th. Latunski's attorney entered an insanity plea, which is when the judge ordered a psych evaluation. Fast forward to mid-February, Latunski was hospitalized twice in 1 week after police found him unresponsive in his cell. This just before he was found incompetent to stand trial. The judge ordered psychological treatment before moving forward with the case. Latunski began that treatment in June at a state facility in Ypsilanti. Now stay with ABC 12 for continuing coverage of his trial.